Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Card Craft again. If you watched yesterday's video, my little flower embellishments, I was using buttons on them and realised I was running out of my altered buttons. So I needed to sit down and make up a few more altered buttons. So I thought I'd bring you along for the journey. As you can see, I've already started, but I just thought I'd put the camera on for a few more to show you just how easy they are. Now, I'm only doing a couple of different types today because they're the ones that I tend to use the most that I needed to fill up. So I'm doing my little metallic-y looking ones and I'm doing some book page ones. So they're so easy to do, and I just have a jar with ones in it. Some are stamped, some are just painted, etc. So I'm just doing a couple of different ones today, and as you can see, my smaller ones, which are my favourite ones, I'm almost out of. So I just thought I'd bring you along for the ride while I finish off a few more of these. We've all got buttons, like here's one of my button jars, if you can see that, with colours in there that I will never use in a pink fit. I have no idea why I have some of these buttons. I've obviously bought them in packs. There's a range of sizes, a range of colours that are just not me. So they're the ones that I pull out to alter. I have some buttons that I know, my creams and my browns and things like that, that I do tend to use for different bits and pieces. Most of these buttons are left over from when buttons were really huge in scrapbooking and we were using them all the time. That's not done as much these days, and I tend to only use my buttons in my journals, on my embellishments and things like that. So like that was one of the ones that we did yesterday with one of my little buttons in it. All I do with my buttons to make them nice and quick and easy, I have a sanding sponge, or you could just use sandpaper, etc. These are only a couple of bucks from the hardware store, and they're just one of those must-have things sitting in my craft room. Whenever you get the little shiny buttons, see how they've got a big gloss on them? I give them a scuff just to get rid of some of that gloss. It allows either the glue to hold, or it allows my gesso to take hold on there if I'm gessoing them. Some of them I give a coating of gesso to, and look, they really don't take that long. That one hasn't got much, but I'll give him a scuff anyway, just because I'm doing them all. That'll happen numerous times. Will I throw them across my bench and then go hunting through all my mess for my button that I've just thrown across the way. So just got a few more here. Now that one's got a little ridge in it, so I could turn it over and go that way, or let's see how we go, because I reckon he'll make a really nice metallic-y looking one. So I'll just get in there just to scuff him up a bit, do my sides so that the paint will hold. They don't take that long at all. It doesn't have to be perfect. That one I've already done, and this one, it's a matte, but I'll just give him a little bit of a scuff anyway. And then we'll go through and I do my edges. So I'll pick the ones that I want with book paper. Did I do him? No, I didn't. He'll look very nice actually done up. So he'll be painted, gessoed. Let's do a couple of book pages. That one will go for a book page. That one will go for a book page. These ones I'll gesso. So I'm just using, I've got numerous jars of different gesso because I keep losing them and having to buy more because I have too much mess in my room. Paintbrush, I like a flat brush. Dip a little bit in my gesso, don't need too much, and just paint over them. You're going to get messy fingers. Oh, didn't bring in any paper towel or oh, I might have baby wipes here somewhere. No, I don't. They're in my teaching bag. So we'll just gesso over that, just very quickly. All right, that's all you're doing with them. So a little bit more gesso, and And that one. And it's really warm here today, so things are not taking very long at all to dry. I noticed, which is why I thought, I'll turn on the camera, because it was just, by the time I'd finished doing something, everything else was dry. So it made for perfect opportunity to get these done. These ones were all being gessoed, weren't they? I'll just grab a bit more gesso. See, I'm all thumbs today. Can't keep anything in my hands. Right, and that. We're also, I think, heading for a storm. We're meant to get to 33, that's Celsius, and be nice and humid, but it's starting to get extremely windy, and I think we're up for a bit of a storm. So this one, I'll go with you. So they're all gessoed, ready to just dry. I'll just grab my cloth and wipe a little bit of paint off my hands. It all just comes off later on, that's fine. And it means you've been doing something, doesn't it? So I'll close you. So these are my gessoed ones. These ones I want to cover with book paper. So what I've done is I've just gone round the edge with a bit of brown paint. Some of them have gone round with black, depending on what I want to do. So they're all just on the edge, and they've just gone round with brown. So while I'm waiting for those ones to dry, which is not going to take long, that one's almost dry now, all we're going to do our book page ones. Now, with your book page ones, I've found that the really fine book paper. So I have a Chinese to English dictionary, so it's really, really fine paper. I also have a stamp catalogue that was done in that really, really fine paper. They're the best ones to use because they will follow the curve of your button. Some of the heavier ones won't adhere properly. So very quickly, my wet glue, which I haven't put the lid back on again. So it's just a matter of if my glue's there. Yep, beautiful. Putting some glue on. Wiping it over so that the whole thing is covered. Getting a little bit of page, and I'll just tear a bit off that because I want the wording. I don't want the stamp on the other side, I want the wording. So I'll sit him down on that and give him a push, just so that I can mould it in to my button. Sit him aside to dry. They don't take that long, especially in the heat today. Depending on where you are, some of you guys are coming into winter. In Australia, we're coming into summer and it's starting to hit. So while he dries, and I tend to leave him that way up, here's one I prepared earlier. This one's now dried. So to get him off, again, I go to my sanding block and I'll just sand around my button. Hope that noise is not too much for you. So you can see how that paper, again, because it's that nice thin paper, serviettes will work really well on this as well. I haven't pulled out my serviettes for today's job. And then just trim him off. What you've got then, I'll just even him up so that he's nice and smooth around the edges. And then you've got a lovely little worded button. This is me, sorry girls. And so I will give him a little bit of an ink just on the edge, just to tan him up a little bit more. Done this one with a black, so I probably should have used a black soot or something like that. This is just brushed corduroy. Now, if I wanted to, because my paper is so white, if I haven't tea dyed it beforehand, I'll just grab an antique linen and go straight over, which puts it down. So you can see, that was this paper. That's the colour it was. That's the colour it is now. See how quick and easy they are? So this one I was mucking around with, and I covered with my paper but hadn't actually painted my edge first, and I'm not the most tidiest of edge ones. So you can see I went right over with the black. So I then went over with some more ink just to really grunge him up. So they are just so easy. So here's another one that's already dried. Again, just scrape him off. Just straight round. There you go. That's that one. This one's done in the brown. We might go with the walnut stain with this one. Sorry about my arm. My inks are at the top. And just smooths off the edge of it. There you go. Look at that. I love them. Absolutely love them. Right, so these guys are dry. Yep, look at that. See, I told you, everything's drying really quickly today. So with these ones, just move some of my sanding off that. What we're going to do with these ones is use some metallic-y paint. So I've got a silver. Now, these are the Adirondack ones that used to come in a Dauber top. I've just put a little flip top lid on them, but any metallic paint. So I've got a silver and I have a copper. They're ages old. So what I'll do, you can see I've already got copper all over that one. Lift a little bit up, give him a shake and he should come to the top. Here he is. Hit a little bit and just put it on my old book page that I'm using here. Get it so that you don't have it so much. I want to paint it black first. Just bear with me. Right. Black paint, and we're going to paint them all black so I get that edging underneath, and this is where I get really messy. Should have done that a minute ago while the others were drying. So all right, one again, it's all right, they're not going to take that long to dry. And you can see how messy a job it is. Look, if you're not into that much mess, by all means, wear gloves. I'm not a glove wearer. I try, it's a bit like I try not to ink. My hands are fine and it all washes off. It's just all acrylic paint, just normal acrylic paints. My blacks and my browns will just wash out with water. So they're just, most of mine are the cheapy ones you'll pick up in the cheap stores, in America, your Dollar Tree stores, over here, just your cheap $2 shops and all the rest. They don't have to be an expensive artist grade paint. All you're doing is covering buttons. So they don't have to be something highly expensive. I've got some very expensive ones from art things, and I find with the buttons they work no different. So just very quickly go around him. At least it looks like I'm doing something. Look at my hands. And that one and this one. I reckon this one's going to turn out the best. Love these shaped buttons, but you know, there is no way known I would use this colour. It's not going to happen. Much as I like to say, oh, that's a pretty blue, I know I will not use it. Whereas if I make it a metallic-y looking button, I will use it and use it and use it. So whenever I find these buttons, I tend to use them. So down my sides, so it covers up the blue down the sides as well. So now this one is one of, I don't know if you can see that. Can't when I drop it. That's one of those shaped buttons as well. And they just come up an absolute treat. That's looking awesome. Okay. So while I'm waiting, see that one's just about dry. Look at that. Told you they don't take long to dry. Right, so we'll go back to that then. Don't think there's any silver left on that. Grab a bit more silver. Put it on that. And I just want to use the tips of my brush, which is why I use a flat brush. So I can pick it up and then I can just okay? So that all I'm doing is giving it that edge. Now I can leave them silver. You're dry. Like that. You're about dry. And I can leave them silver, or what I can do if I've got another flat brush, yeah, there's one, is I can put my copper on there as well. Let's grab some copper. Again, put it on my book page and just dab it. And then from there, go over my silver with a little bit of copper, which gives it that really worn, tarnished look. How easy are they? They're just, it doesn't take long to build up your stash of buttons again, which is good because I've really got to get onto some Christmas cards today. It is now middle of November and I haven't even started Christmas cards. Let's go the other way. Let's go. Make sure none of those are stuck. Let's just do a copper one this time. All right, so there's just, if you can see that in my messy fingers, there's just a copper one. And look, it's been however long I've been on this, and I probably sat down 15 minutes beforehand, and look how many I've done already. So they truly don't take that long. Yeah, I like this one. I want to put a little bit of silver in that one as well. Let's go right in there. Look at that. See how it picks up all those beautiful areas in that button where he's down. A little bit more silver, if I've got a little bit more on that, yep. Just around. And a little bit of copper on there. Which was that one? Might need some more copper in that one. As you can see, I do try and use a paint palette, but it's so much easier just working on a bit of old book, and it's just a solid book, and it's all sitting there in front of me. Right, so there's all those ones. They're done. How hard was that? Right, so back to these ones. I've got more of these that are dry. See how I lose them? All right. This is, as I said, just a really quick video to bring you along while I do some altered buttons. Because I've got so many buttons and I don't use all these other colours. I didn't paint the side of him. So, let's see how smart we can go. Let's get some paint on that. I'm not very neat when I've got to do it this way. Not very neat at all. Look at that. I don't know if you can even see that. All right, let's go again. How's that? Can you see now? I'm hoping you can see now. Good thing I've got my glasses on. Oh, we'd be in big trouble. There you go. There you go. Look at that. See, and that's how I should have taken care with that first one. Go that way. There we go. Done. And I can age that. Sometimes I'll leave them just like that because it depends on the actual project that I'm working on to what colour I want to age it anyway. So just very gently going round. You can see where it's starting to cut round it. Not having to put on too much pressure. Go back and do the bits that you've missed. And just tear him around. Look at that. Missed that bit. There he is. And they look like they come like it. They're just so easy. So, I got a little bit there. Are you going to fit on that? Yes, you will. So we'll do, there you go. That was just a khaki. It's probably a colour that I may have used, but that's fine. I haven't put the lid back on this again, so let's see if we've got any glue coming out. A little bit. More paint on my hands than I think I have on the buttons. Oh well. All right, down. I'm gonna have to wipe my hands now. Now, there comes a time. Push him down, moving him over, just so that he goes right in around your button, and setting him aside to dry. All right, that's that one. 3 more really quick ones. There we go, I've got this one already done. So just a little piece. And the glue. Oh, it's coming out not very well. Lifting him up. And that's why I work on a scrap piece of paper, because I'm all over the show. Pushing him down. Do I have... No, I can't find it. Oh, hang on. Hang on. No, they're really dark ones. I don't think I've got any dark done serviettes. Now, your serviettes, you can stamp on your serviettes on the backing pieces, and, you know, just use your stamps and stamp on them, and then cover your buttons that way. But try and use a lighter coloured button if you're going to do those ones. It's a good way to use up the backing that's on your serviettes. I know if you're anything like me, because I can't throw them out. There's no way known I could throw them out. Oh no, I might use them. So I will stamp on them to make them. Right. Push him on. Stamp on them to make them more serviettes, because let's face it, I need so many more serviettes. I actually sat down yesterday, and as I said, I've got to do Christmas cards. Sat down yesterday after yesterday's video and started doing Christmas cards, and thought, no, I'll pull out my serviettes, and I cheated. A while ago, a long time ago in my stash, I bought some trifold white scalloped edged pre-folded cards. And hang on a moment, let's have a look. Like so. Because I cheated and they were already there. So, and because it is getting so close to Christmas, and postal is really bad this year, and they're warning us that we need to post things really early, I sat down and thought, I've got to start my Christmas cards and I need something quick and easy. So I got one of my Christmas serviettes and that card, and just tore out and glued my serviette to the front of that card. That'll just have a greeting on there that sits slightly over that, which closes it, and then it'll open up. How much is that for cheating? But oh, so quickly. Quick and easy. So I'm going to sit down later on today after I've done all my buttons and whip up a whole more cards. Normally, I never make 2 cards the same. But this year, if I need an excuse, this year's done it, so I'm just going to sit there and do up about 3 or 4 different designs to send out. But yeah, that was just so quick and easy with the serviettes, because they were sitting on my desk anyway. When I went to clean up yesterday afternoon, they were sitting on another part of my desk, and I went, great, we'll just do that. And on a winner now as far as I'm concerned, so we'll just keep doing more of those. I did do a couple of other cards, which were these ones, where I used my book pages again. This was out of a Christmas book, and so I photocopied the story. It's just a story about Christmas cards, and then aged it with my antique linen and stamped out on tea-dyed paper a stamp and tore around it, and then added a sentiment. Again, nice and quick and easy. They're normally not my type of cards that I do like that. There's usually lots of layers and all the rest, but I just went, I'm still in junk journal mode. I'm still in tearing mode, and so two very quick and easy designs, and I think that's the way I'm going to go. So while I've been sitting there, we've got another one. And look, how easy are those? Now, as I said before, if you have some of the bigger ones, I'm not going to do them today because I haven't got my stamps out. If you've got some of the bigger ones, paint them with your gesso, which will give you a backing. There should be some left in here. Let's have a look. Oh, here you go. Gesso. I've edged it in my copper, and then I've stamped a script stamp over the top. If you're stamping over the top, use a permanent ink. I use the archival ones, but make sure it is a permanent ink, waterproof, etc., so that they don't smudge. You will need to leave them to sit for a little while to dry. But another tip is, whether it's a clear stamp or whether it's a rubber one, don't put them on your block. You know how you normally do a stamp, and we'll sit them on our block. If this one's sticky, you stick them on your block to stamp. Don't when you're doing your buttons. If they're a clear or a rubber one like this, it allows you to go over. Let's just put a watermark over that one because I can do lots more. We'll go to the coffee just so that I can show you what I mean. I'll just ink him up. All right. And just press down with your fingers like so, because that'll mean it'll follow the curve of your button. Okay? Because if you've got them on the blocks, on your acrylic blocks, they will stay very flat, and you'll have trouble getting over the curves and impressions that are in your button. So don't put them on your block. Just a little tip with that one if you're going any further with your stamping. So as I said, that one was stamped. This one, gesso, the copper paint, and then I had a really tiny little dragonfly stamp on a little wooden block, but it was just a little edge one, and I've just stamped him around again in the permanent ink. That one's had a little leaf go around the edge, so I've painted him in a couple of different colours. Don't know what else I've got left in here. That might be it for the stamped ones. Yeah, the rest of them are all copper. Now that one, I like that one too. That one's just the white gesso with the silver over it, so it actually looks like a silver foil that's gone over the button. Okay, so I hope that's given you some ideas. They're always handy to have. Like, I've got just a little jar of buttons. These guys are all dry now, so they'll go in my little jar just to top up. Yep, see, they're all really dry. It does depend on the weather that you've got. As I said, it's quite warm here today, and everything's drying really, really quickly. And let's face it, if nothing else, you pull out a jar like that, how much inspiration's there? It just makes you want to go and do some stuff. So, I can go back in, that can go back in, that and that. Those ones I'm going to leave like that in case I end up wanting them black tinged or brown tinged. And they're the only ones left to sand off. So, that's got to be the shortest video I've ever done. And hopefully it's given you some tips and some tricks. And until next time, I'll see you later. If you're enjoying all this, please hit subscribe and like, and hope to see you along for the journey next time. Thank you.